it's Dave Graney and Billy Miller and Clare Moore, part of our old friends. Cheers, old friends. Discussion of friends in our world. Because Billy, I always thought, I don't know whether you've ever enjoyed doing interviews, but often you're talking with people. It's like with journalists or something who have an idea about you that's usually not really all of what you are. They've heard things about you, or they know a little part about what you've done, and you're just having to cope with that. And then I was thinking there's other musicians too you run into, and they're you have fleeting, transitory relationships with them, and then there's actual people who've affected you or inspired you, and you're that to me. And,
Thanks, Dave.
Would you say that too, Claire?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and same for me. It's funny because, back in the 70s and that, I wasn't really close to other musicians. And now, if you look at my phone, the messages are from you guys, Paul Kelly, Andrew Duffield, sometimes Mark Ferrets, just, it's amazing. And now I'm close to everybody, not as close with them as I am with you guys, but with Andrew I am. It's, it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit like that myself, and I know all those people, and I know other people as well. But I guess we ran into you, Billy, around sometime in the 90s. I used to be hanging around Andrew Duffield's studio, which he was quite an inspiring character in a strange way, in that he's a working musician, but then he kind of had this life being paid for all his skills in the world of advertising.
The devil's music.
Yes.
That's what Lucy used to say to me as I'd leave home in the morning. Off to make the devil's music, are you?
But it was
Good on you, Lucy.
It was Andrew Duffield and Phil Kennaghan. They were like a double team, one tech and one creative.
Yeah.
And then you were the loose Flavor Flav of the operation. He's like a rapper, a hype man, a mysterious character kind of brought in to do different things. But it was constant work in a recording studio, which I always loved, and I loved just hanging out there. And it was also quite a relaxed party atmosphere.
Look, we'd spend at least an hour every morning on the 9-letter word in the Age, unless we got it straight. But then the puzzles, it was just the best workplace I've ever been in. I mean, once you started working, we'd be up all night. But, it was fantastic. And I remember, I'd met you a few times, Dave, and especially I remember once at Plugger's Roast.
Claire was there as well.
Oh,
Yes, that's right. At the Powerhouse in
on the lake.
Albert Park Lake.
Yeah.
The keg.
And I was they'd got me to do 20 minutes of songs, and the footy club did, and I always think, why would you fucking do that? Nobody wants to listen to this. So I went along with it, and I did my sound check at in the afternoon. Okay, all fine. Little did I know that just before I went on, they were taking a call from Molly on the other side of the fucking world. And, the guy had to change all the settings on the desk and that for Molly to sound good. And then bang, I had to go on, and it was just horrendous, The sound was just anyhow. I just sort of laughed, but that's when But then you and Claire came in with the band to do Sheriff of Hell.
Oh yeah, that's right. About the Plugger night. That was quite good because it was in South Melbourne.
Yeah,
and we were very excited to be around. It was we were always going to Moorabbin and Wavell.
Yes,
brilliant. Yeah,
and we were seeing the players up close. My sister Julie was there as well.
Yeah,
players had to kind of schmooze and talk to everyone, so they're
going
table to table with bow ties on.
From the
very uncomfortable.
From the Ferrets days, I was very close to the team. I taught a lot of them guitar because Molly
Wow.
you know, was our producer and manager and everything. So Trevor Barker and people like that would be round all the time. So I got to know all them. I ended up doing all their 21sts and weddings and all that. It was absolutely fantastic playing down there. Molly sent Trevor and Michael Roberts round to my place one day to try and get them to talk me out of using drugs.
Wow. Oh, really?
An intervention.
An impossible mission, but yeah. So anyhow, I didn't know Plugger very well. But around that time, I wrote a song and recorded it called "The Champ from Ballarat." Plugger, you know, one of those sort of songs. And they were talking about it that night. And the only time I've really spoken to Plugger, we were next to each other having a piss. And and he said, "So you're going to make a bit of money out of my song, aren't you?" And you know, I just sort of laughed it off. I didn't want to say to him, "Listen, mate, you know, it'll probably sell 15 copies and it's cost us more to make it," but I didn't want to destroy their illusion because the rest of the world thinks we're all rich, Dave. They all think we're really.
If you're in the
they've
paper,
got no idea.
But that night we were seeing a different side of St Kilda. You'd seen it all before. I thought Plugger had a younger brother who seemed to be there.
Really?
Well.
Jeez.
Maybe it was someone I just imagined, but Plugger gave a very politically incorrect speech saying Stephen Silvani's left with his wife, half his luck.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think I remember
But
that.
your thing you would need to do was to, you had a party piece kind of where you would do the last 5 minutes of the 66 grand.
The last 2 minutes.
Set to music.
Yeah. 2 minutes. Thanks, Dave. I couldn't do 5, but in fact, it's on the wall there. We can't see it, but I've written it out. It's I've written out Mike Williamson, Teddy Whitten and Butch Gale, their commentary, everything they said, like Teddy Whitten saying, "Hit the boundary," you know, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'd do the last 2 minutes along to, there was an ad on at the time, Brian told me, told for the news, Brian, you know, and I turned that into a 12-bar blues in A, and, you know, I need everything I need to know, Brian told me so, and then I'd go into the last 2 minutes.
That's show business, full of many undignified moments, but we've been able to negotiate. You mentioned like being musicians in the 70s and 80s and that. We've often wondered why you didn't go down the rabbit hole of playing blues-based music in that 70s period. You seem to be like interested in pop music.
Yeah, because of probably the Beatles connection, and I've always been more into the English music than the American. Not now, but back then it was all English for me, and the Who and the Beatles and the Kinks and stuff. And sorry, what you asked?
Or the scene around you was more like from Albert's music.
Yes, that's right.
Ray CDC, Rose Tattoo, Thorpe, and all
that stuff. No, we were more, and like most of my songs had orchestral parts in them that I was reading then. So because of the hit record, we'd come across as a pop band that's sort of lightweight hit song. But, the other 11 tracks on the record, half of them go for 6 minutes, and they've got the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and National Boys Choir on them. So
you performed live with an orchestra, didn't you?
We did at the Night Moves concert, that famous concert at the Palais.
At the Palais, right.
And Dragon, Billy T, it was a huge lineup. But we did the whole album there with 16 of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra behind a curtain and the National Boys Choir behind another curtain, and this one stage guy had to do the signals, and of course, you got it wrong. The curtain was supposed to go up to reveal the string section as we hit the the curtain didn't go up, so I think it's on the video, I'm just changed all the words to just up curtain, and also, oh my God, Jeff Duff was a good friend of ours, at that time, and
Yeah.
he came along, and we've got a song called Janie May about my sister Janie. It was the follow-up single, and it's got a bit of a party on it. And I said, can we get all our friends on stage? And they sort of didn't want to go along with it, but they did. Jeff Duff comes on stage with an inflatable sex doll. And we're into what Janie May. There's about 4 songs still to go after Janie May, and he has me, you know, giving it a head job and all. I'm trying to play guitar, and Jeff Duff's doing this. The doll's long hair gets caught in my Fender machine heads, and I'm trying to yank, but the more you pull, the worse it is. So for the last 3 songs of that concert, I've got a sex doll hanging off me in my guitar, thanks to Jeff Duff.
Oh, wow.
So, thanks, Jeff.
And this song, you're not mentioning its name there. You say the song after your single, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said we had that single was of course a big hit. Don't Fall in Love, a brilliant kind of a song that sort of was so pop, and it sort of it fit in with the music of commercial end of American new wave, like the Cars and that kind of the minimal guitar parts.
Yes.
Fantastic guitar solo, just a great little kind of glam rock.
And no
element
snare.
to it. Yeah.
Yes, there.
And that was a funny song. That was the lyrics were written by a character who was around your crew.
He was our first drummer, really, before Rick Brewer, but he wasn't quite good enough when the Ferrets started. But he played with us for 4 years
Ian Davis.
around Sydney. Ian Davis, his name was. And he used to walk around the house, barring all our friends for a start, like, you know, he was like a cop. But he used to change words like to annoy my wife, Lucy. They secretly loved each other as friends, but they were always fighting. And he'd walk around and he'd go, Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool for your wife. You know, that sort of thing. And she'd go, get fucked, and they'd be on, and it'd be... And, you know, after a while, and then the Split Ends song, I Got You, he turned into, Chink, I gotta chew, that's all I want, you know, of course. And then finally...
Sounds better, I think.
I think so too. Finally, one of us said, listen, Ian, why don't you try writing, you know, actual words? So it didn't take long before him and the bass player, KD Firth, came up with Don't Fall in Love, and we recorded it as a B-side to a song called Lies. We were allowed to record it without Molly there. He was overseas interviewing somebody for Countdown. But they let us go in just to do this B-side to, you know, Metropolis, whatever it was called then.
Why was there no
Armstrong's.
snare?
Because I picked up Rick Brewer, the drummer, from his house in Kew with the drums, and we get to the studio.
You
And
left the snare home.
he'd left the snare at home,
Get
and
out.
there wasn't a snare hanging around. So we didn't have a snare, and it's one of the most, makes it the most catchy, because there's that hole where the snare would normally on the second and fourth beat. And I've spent, you know, 40 years trying to make sure drummers don't play the snare in that song. But so anyhow, we recorded it quite quickly. I did the lead vocal at 5 o'clock in the morning, laying on the floor. Next day we go in to mix it quickly so they can get the single out. Molly comes back, he comes into the studio and he says, what's this? He said, oh, it's just a B-side we recorded last night, it's just a new song. And he said, no, turn the vocals down, no, bring the maracas up here. Next minute, he's creating the mix.
Really?
He's a genius.
Did he have an opinion about the snare, lack of?
It
Do
didn't
you
occur to
remember?
him. You know, he
Right,
just
okay.
deals with what's there. You know, a normal producer would say, "Where's the snare?" It wouldn't occur to Molly. No,
Right.
it's just what he's got
Okay.
there, and he helped us mix it. But really, we'd done that ourselves. So, but you know, he's down as the producer on that, even though we did most of it. But you know, I reckon he's the best producer we've ever had, ever. Russell Morris, the real thing, you know.
Because people often, well, I often wonder what he did in the studio, like how he did it, because
you could see him build a song the way he'd get,
right.
he'd just get Tony Cohen, usually it was, just to pull everything down, right, we'll start with the drums and then bring in the bass, he had a thing for introducing a new instrument every verse.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever it is, if it's an organ or a fucking maraca or anything, that was in our second verse. The maracas came in. He really liked that in Don't Fall in Love. Turn up the maracas, we would have had them down, but,
Did he have a mentor, like for producing, or did he just hang around studios, or how did he...
He started hanging around a band called The Group.
Oh, yeah.
With Ronnie Charles, and he actually went to England with them and ended up working at Abbey Road with the Beatles.
Right, so he sort of was...
Some say he was the man in the bag, not John Lennon in the park in London, because they needed some gopher, he was just hanging around.
Right.
He reckons it was him in the bag.
Oh, okay.
Take it as you... Yeah, so anyhow, he came back to Australia and he was a writer for Go Set, and then he started miming songs on a show called Commotion. And he mimed a song called Auntie Maggie's Homemade Remedy.
Oh, whose song was that? Because that was during that weird strike, wasn't it? Where Australian, they didn't have videos, or something.
There was some
problem between
radio and record companies. 1978.
So they just had people like him and Denise Drysdale and that miming songs. None of them ever sang the song.
Okay.
But of course, everybody at home thinks it's them. So that's the first time I saw it. And then I saw him at the footy, and I knew he was a Beatles fanatic and a Saints fanatic. So I had to take my demo tape to him. Yeah. That's the only person I took it to.
And Ian Davis, who you mentioned, wrote the lyrics to that. He was also, we never knew him, but he was very influential in lots of the slang language around the music scene, especially through Tony Cohen, who seemed to, the late Tony Cohen, who seemed to repeat things of his like maggot and let's get this turkey in the shops and all this kind of...
Something about crows. What was that one? I was just Stone the Crows.
Starve the Lizards.
Starve the Lizards.
Yeah. So, I think even Nick Cave liked a lot of that stuff.
Yes, we all... They all worked with Tony a lot,
Yeah, but Ian was... So he was in and out of jail most of his life, and when the demo tape worked and we got the contract with Mushroom, Molly said, we're going to have to get a different drummer. Ian was all right, but he wasn't that good, and he got Rick Brewer from the Zoo. He was currently playing with Jim Keys in his band. Anyhow, Rick joined me and KD Firth and Dave Springfield. We'd been playing together for years. So, yeah.
And you mentioned your late partner Lucy, who was such a big personality.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in this house, which she kind of...
She built.
She built before she passed on. So it was a big project of hers. But I remember Lucy saying to me once, almost blurting out, because the way you are, Billy, you're very open to people. It's odd for musicians. You don't hold anything inside. And she said, Billy's... everybody thinks Billy's public property, it must have been difficult for you to have a private life because you're so kind of friendly and open to other situations. But I think she wasn't complaining. She was just saying it's part of what your life was like, because you are a very generous person in participating in other musical
encouragement, all that stuff. But Lucy and I got together when I was 19, she was 17, so we were virtually married on that day. We didn't get married till we were pregnant with Eddie, but so 43 years. She's the most amazing person I've ever met, obviously. But fantastic. She took no bullshit from Ian Davis, so, oh my God. Like, he was barring our friends from our house by putting mattresses against the front door. Like, it's just, what are you doing, Ian? They're our old friends. They put They badmouth the fuel, which means they put shit on the speed. He later used to make speed.
Right.
Yeah, in his microwave.
Okay.
Yeah. There's 400-year-old apothecary books that worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the Ferrets, you had your two sisters.
Yes.
And Lucy was never a performer, and you kept your links with St Kilda, and you're very loyal to Molly, as you were talking about him, because there are other people in the music scene who don't credit him with creative work, and they see him more as a demonic kind of gatekeeper at different periods. But you've kept these links of very intimate relationships. It's not like going out to hang around in nightclubs with movers and shakers, that kind of thing.
As you know, I never go out, especially to see bands.
Oh,
But mainly because of the sound.
Yeah.
I know the sound is going to be terrible.
really?
I know I'm going to be standing there and I'm going to be looking at the sound guy and making eyes at him about turn the vocal up, turn the drums down.
But you've been in different periods. You've been more social.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Yeah.
Like our friend Stephen Cummings would not hang around after a gig. He loves doing gigs, but kind of uncomfortable with people and would run away. Roland Howard was the same.
Oh,
he just did not like... Maybe his was more of a political thing. He just didn't want to be embraced or swallowed up by a rock and roll world. He wanted to be his own thing.
Well, I don't know if you two remember the night I was playing with Stephen and you guys were playing, and we did a tour for a week and we swapped each night who went on first, but I usually got up with you and did a couple of songs at the end, and of course it was one of the nights where you guys were on last, and I'm starting the guitar solo in one of your songs, and I look down and there's Stephen with our bags packed on his shoulder, holding the other guitars, like looking at me going, come on, hurry up.
Wow. Just wanted to get out of there.
Very eccentric, lovable character, unique character.
Unique, all right.
Yesterday we were walking in the park around here and we was talking to a gent, and he was talking in an underworld knowing way. You're both walking your dogs, and it turned out he told us he'd had a career as an undercover cop for the drug squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember now, as we were talking, there was another show we did with you at the Manly Boat Shed.
Oh, Jesus.
And at the time in Manly, there was a cop who was in hiding, and the Manly cops were, in the language, it was coded language that they were quite, corrupt bunch. Sorry, Manly cops, but anyway. And then the fella running the club was an ex-cop, and he was really drunk, and he wanted to get up and sing a song, and we said we were just trying to beat him off, me and Claire, but eventually he just stumbled on and started doing "You Are So Beautiful" by Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Bill, but me and Claire just walked off the stage.
Sorry, Bill.
Left you there.
I know it, so it didn't matter. I was able to help him out, play the chords.
It's one of those songs that people that can't really sing think they're doing it perfectly because their voice breaks. And
there's so many things musicians got to do, isn't there? Like, so if you think, right, I'll play along, I'll help this guy. The first thing you've got to do is work out what key he's singing in. So you sort of fiddle around, okay, it's there, bang, and then you start playing. But they don't, when they get up and sing or play tambourine, they don't know what an effort we're putting in behind. No idea.
Constructing the stage, the scenery.
It's a bit like when I did that gig at the Tote, which was it's like rock karaoke.
Yeah.
And you had to put your name down to sing a song, but you had a rock band, and we had to learn 5 songs, and we learnt In Excess, and it was
all girl band.
Girl band called the Chico Moles. And anyway, we get up to play, and a guy gets up to do one of the songs. I think it's an In Excess song. It could be Hoodoo Gurus. And we just blast into it, and it was all these sort of punk rock chicks, and God, it was loud. And
Yeah.
the guy standing there with the mic, I saw his butt clench, and it's like, oh, being on stage with that noise around you, being so close to the amps, he just, whoa, it was too much.
He hadn't experienced it before.
No, it was amazing.
Our workplace.
No, that's right. And you think, God, there's people just down there in the audience, but being on stage is a whole nother world, isn't it? You might as well be on a different planet.
You mentioned Chico Roll. I've never sung you this. It's an Ian Davis, one of these ones. And Dave was the guitarist, and apparently he had a big dig. And KD was the bass player. So the song went, I keep telling KD Firth about the time Dave flashed his dirty rotten Chico Roll. The way that it used to hang, he could pull any more. I'm telling you, Dave, don't ever shave and stay on the dole.
Wow, why wasn't Ian?
Jeez.
Why wasn't that on a record?
Oh, wow.
No.
I'm telling you, Dave, don't ever shave and stay on the dole. Oh my God. It's brilliant.
Ian,
Wise advice.
and the way you described Ian, you've said to me about, you call a certain type of person a desperate.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of work with Paul Kelly in recent years, co-writing songs with him, and that. Is it from your shared experience in that world of desperates that you and Paul have been able to communicate with each other?
I'm sure of it. Absolutely sure of it. I mean, yeah, we just clicked straight away. We didn't really know it. We knew each other a bit in the 70s, but yeah, when we started writing, it's just a real, it just happens spontaneously. And I'm sure, when you look at someone, you're looking at their 50-year history, or you're looking at their life to some extent, aren't you? And we just looked at each other, and it's almost like, and I know, and off we go.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Desperate, meet desperate.
Yeah.
Things have changed, but we've been desperate.
Yeah, but writing a song on acoustic guitars hasn't changed. Maybe we're the only people that aren't going to be replaced. Actual people that sit, I don't mean at a gig, they can make holograms or something, but people who can sit in a room and entertain 40 people, that might be one of the last ones.
Maybe.
So stay alive.
Glenn's not so sure.
And gardening.
Gardening, yes.
Maybe.
Well, growing pot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I better have a puff of my joint.
That reminds us.
Yeah.
And by this stage, I was at the stage where you stand in front of the mirror and hold the thing and sing into the mirror and look at yourself. Did you do that, Dave?
I never did that, no.
You're kidding. So anyhow, I learned all the Beatles songs all in by the time I was 12 or something. So yeah, it's been incredible.
Claire was a Rolling Stones person.
Yeah, well that's...
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if it had been the Rolling Stones had the top 5 songs, it would have been them probably. Yeah.
There's a photo I've seen of Claire going to the Rolling Stones and coming back, and it's like...
Right, did her face change?
On the way back, she's smoking.
Oh, she's smoking, yeah, having a joint, yeah. Good on you, Claire.
Sorry.
Easily influenced.
That picture of you coming back from the Rolling Stones concert and you
with
turned
the
from
cigarette.
a choir girl into
That's right.
Chico Moore.
That was when I was 13. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I went to see them at Memorial Drive,
yeah,
73.
right.
That's great.
They asked Mick Jagger's son, was he a Beatles or Stones fan? And he said, I actually prefer the Kinks.
Did he? Shit.
Perfectly fine alternative. I mean, oof, you got about 20 rippers here, haven't you?
There's been another Beatles moment I've remembered about you, Billy, when the story that you got stranded after...
In Perth.
In Perth after Buster Brown imploded over there, and you woke up the others had all disappeared, and you had to earn the money to get back to Melbourne by busking.
singing Paul McCartney songs in the bars in Perth at that time. When was that? 74
They
or
would have all
75?
shut at 5 p.m.
Yeah, but at lunchtime they had the business crowd and they had a lot of people playing solo, so I did that. But yeah, we went over with Buster Brown with Angry. We were the last lineup. And it was me, KD, Firth and Dave from the Ferrets. So it was virtually the Ferrets plus Angry. And we drove across
The future
Nullarbor.
Ferrets.
The future Ferrets. We drove across the Nullarbor in a brand new hire car, 5 of us. And just before we left, Angry took 2 Mandrax. Do you remember Mandrax?
Yes, I do.
So that he wouldn't have to put up with what everybody else did.
He wasn't driving.
No, but he was just lolling across everybody in the back seat.
Mandy's.
It took us, I don't know, we just went non-stop. And anyhow, we were over
America,
there.
I think.
Quaaludes, yeah. The truck broke down, everything went wrong. But anyhow, in the end, KD Firth had left 2 nights before we were due to leave. He had to join the Rocky Horror Show or something. And he said, well, I know this guy Jimmy from Frankston. Halfway across the Nullarbor, we stopped at a station servo with just one guy in there, and Jimmy just turned to us and said, right, I'll look after the cash register. You just look after the guy. Like, we're hippies from Sydney, you know. No way, you know. So, of course, he was most disappointed in that. He did every gig with us. He was like a bouncer. He had black pants and a short white shirt with all his tats. You know, like he was a bouncer at the Pier Hotel in Frankston, and that's what he looked like. So anyhow, we did the last gig. We were staying at a place called the Sand Groper in Perth, and we had $1,200 left or something. That was going to get us back to Melbourne. And I went down to the manager's office because I was the leader of the band, I suppose, by that stage. I don't know. Anyhow, I went there to get the money and he said, oh, Jimmy picked it up a couple of hours ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh, dear.
He's already halfway back to Melbourne. And he said, yeah, he went over to the music shop earlier and the Fender guitar and amp and beautiful amp that he'd been using was in the he hocked it. He must have stolen it in Frankston just before we left. So, yeah, so the band broke, you know, that was the end of the band. Angry and them came back on the... Angry and the drummer, Dallas Royal Digger, went to Sydney and started Rose Tattoo. Digger
they
was
flew
the
to
drummer.
Sydney?
No, they got the train first.
And that guy took the car.
Hey?
The guy from Frankston took...
No, we just left them.
Oh, you left the car over there. Okay, shit.
And then the other time the Beatles... Oh, you made your way back busking Beatles songs.
Yes, that's right.
The other time we were doing... With us, we went over to Vietnam in 2001 and we had to give a talk as well as doing a couple of gigs. We had to give a talk in Hanoi Music School. And the language difference was led to us, them asking us, how did you get into the music? And you said, I was into the Beatles, which they heard as when I was in the Beatles. Because there's a hushed response.
Yes.
Very trusting young Vietnamese music people.
It was so beautiful. You know, we gave them a lot of knowledge about... You played the bad guy, as usual, and I played the nice guy, and I thought it went really well.
What did you do? Did you play?
I think
guitar?
we did.
Yeah, we played a couple of tunes.
We did a gig in a circus in Hanoi, a permanent circus kind of tent thing, and another gig, and the opening act was called White Eagle, I think.
White Eagle.
And they only played Doors songs, which seemed very apt for rock and roll and Vietnam. But we had one amplifier for 3 guitars.
Yeah, it was.
And the plug to plug it in had just bare wires
Yeah,
on the end that you
I remember their road
poked
crew
into
poking in
the
me. I just...
Oh God, I thought we were going to die. Yeah, the drum kit just had a big rope all the way around it, around your seat, so that it didn't go anywhere. So it was, but they were nice. The guys with the other band were lovely.
But it was a stone So there were all these rats running
rats
around.
running around in circles, yeah. And the PA was up there, it was up in the wall, so you had no fallback.
What an experience.
Yeah, that was
Fantastic,
mad.
thanks to you
and
guys.
you had to put your lyrics in there,
I
Dave.
did, yes. I had to be
I wonder what the
approved.
government made of Dave's lyrics.
Yeah, I feel embarrassed because I was wearing a cowboy hat, and I thought, well, I must look like an American to them.
Oh,
so-
right, I never thought of that. But you had a powder blue suit
I did,
on.
yeah. So
Yeah,
made a bit of a
looked
show for
sensational.
them, yeah. So I think this will be enough for our chat, actually.
Oh.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Not really. I think we've done heaps. We've just about drained our personalities.
So,
I don't know. What about the football playing on tour? I think that needs a
oh, yeah,
mention.
we often took good football when we were. Billy started playing with us from the post-Coral Snakes period. We did an album called The Dave Graney Show with Duffield and Canahan producing, and then Billy sort of found his way into playing with us up until about 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
We did a lot of touring around regional Australia, which was a strange way seemed to be you visiting places you'd been before, but you'd been Melbourne, stuck in, or just pretty much Melbourne centric for a long period, and we went on a lot of those sort of daytime TV shows and that were around then, like
That's right.
with Bert Newton and Denise Drysdale and other things.
That's right, the Channel 9, lots of
It
those.
was quite an
morning
interesting
shows.
period, but
We
we like
did Studio 22 in
Yeah.
We
ABC
did,
and Sydney.
all those things that have kind of disappeared now, those studios.
Exactly, along with driving up the Hume. Like, I don't think that many people do
No.
that kind of
Well,
touring.
it was a ritual. We had the Sharon, the ball in the
That's
car, and we always stopped at the Holbrook where the submarine is, in that park, and we had a kick there, including Adele on bass, who was so much like Plugger the way she
was
and her elbows, she was fantastic.
What about
And
Leanne?
Leanne was really good,
Leanne
and
was
me
our
and Dave.
mixer.
Yeah.
As I always tell everybody, Dave was known as Mr. Magic
Mr. Magic,
in the Warrnambool Mount Gambier Football League.
That's right, yes. That's what I've told everybody, Matt Gambier.
We had some pretty high class kicks by that submarine.
Yeah. Oh, you were all great. I was terrible, and Stu Pereira was
Not interested.
No.
no.
Stuart
He
Pereira.
barracks for Richmond.
Stuart Pereira, our guitarist, still he had joined us around the same time, and he'd never been in a. He was very young, and he's barely 20, and had never been in any sort of permanent playing combo before. And he'd say to me stuff like, "What, we're going to play the same songs again? What's this all about?"
For the rest of your life.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's a legitimate kind of question, but Billy being a kind of vintage player, lots of experience. Adele coming from Brisbane. Poor Adele had only known like the Go-Betweens and people like that before. She was coming in. We must have seemed like tough guys.
Yeah, some tough guy club. It's our club.
Compared to playing.
And nothing could be further from the truth.
That's true. And Leanne, our female mixer, who mixed sports shows on Channel 7. Yeah, it was a wild bunch, kind of both genders, all kinds of genders.
Well, we went to London, Dave.
Yeah.
That's right.
Another place, thanks to Dave and Claire, I would never have been if it wasn't for them. But anyhow, we had a kick of the Sharon in Hyde Park.
Wow.
Yes.
And unfortunately for me, the ball went in the Serpentine Lake.
Oh, dear.
And it was drifting along the beautiful new Sharon. And I said, "Can you go in?" And they said, "You got to ask the policeman." There was a little house where the policeman lives. And I rang the bell and I said, "Can I go and get my Sharon out of the lake?" And he said, "What's a Sharon?" And I said, "Yeah, it's an Australian rules football. It's worth a lot of money."
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, well, as long as you look after yourself." So out I went, and we've got photos of me coming out of the Serpentine Lake. Hey? No, only up to chest.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Mm.
And what are you working on now, Bill? Are you still playing and playing guitar?
Playing so much, Dave. You know, so many hours every day. It's really good, and I'm loving it. You know, writing more stuff with Paul and our band that my son Eddie's in with me. We've got a residency at the Rising Sun in South Melbourne every fourth Sunday or something.
That's a great show.
Yeah, and in the next one, we're doing the Help album, Beatles Help, first track to the end. So I mean, I knew half of them, but yeah, it's been great learning all them.
Oh God, so you didn't know all of them?
Not all. There's a few obscurities on there.
So these that's a real John Lennon period of the Beatles. Like Paul seemed to take over at some point.
But it's got Yesterday, a couple of other big Paul songs. So no, it's about half and half.
One of the greatest things I saw you do was at Caravan Music Club. You recreated one of the first gigs you went to, which was the Small Faces Manfred Mann, was it?
Yeah.
And
The Who.
And the Who. And you got a band together to play all of that music. It was absolutely fantastic. I didn't even have any pop.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
Mate.
By the time you got to Barbara O'Reilly, because you threw in a few
extras,
other later period songs, because the one you're talking about is like 66 or
68. It was called The Big Show.
Wow.
Yeah, the Who, Small Faces, and Paul Jones, who was the singer from Manfred Mann, and at that time he had the #1 hit in the world with Pretty Flamingo. And he wasn't even, you know, he was third on the bill, so he did that and did a few Manfred Mann songs. Small Faces come out and just play 8, you know, Ichiku Park classic songs in a row, and then they started hammering the biggest nails I've ever seen, Keith Moon's drum kit into the floor at Festival Hall, and he still, at the end of it, managed to bloody kick him off, you know, while Pete was smashing his guitar. And it was just the most amazing show I've ever seen. I was 12 or 14, something like that. Mum got me a ticket.
But by the time you got to recreate it, which is maybe 10 or so more years ago, you were one of the few people in Melbourne that would have the guitar skills to play Townsend's power chords and the vocal chops to inhabit Stevie Marriott kind of.
Yeah, I'm good at Steve
Squalls, the squall in your voice.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, they were amazing concerts.
Yeah.
Because like the Who's set went for 40 minutes, Small Faces 30, Thingo 15. It wasn't long enough, so that's why we had to do Barbara O'Reilly and a few others. With James Black was on the keyboards, and he'd sampled the incredible Barbara O'Reilly.
Did he?
So we had everything going. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Stu Thomas sang Pinball Wizard.
Yes.
So who was Keith Moon?
Who was Keith Moon? John Annis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Fine. But he didn't knock over his kit, I guess. No.
He did knock over his drink.
Should have had somebody come out to nail it down.
Oh, God.
Nails this big. Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Claire.
Yeah.
No worries, thank you.